role of technology in delivering the curriculum. By the way, I am Maria Fidia Boyat, and for today's objectives, first we have discussed the rules of technology in curriculum delivery. Number 2, identify the factors in technology's selection, including the use of visual aid. Now, what is the role of technology in the curriculum? Technology can be a powerful tool for enhancing curriculum development and delivery by using online resources, creating multimedia content, and designing online assessment. Curriculum developers can create engaging and interactive learning experiences that cater to the needs of today's learners. So today it is easy to access information 24/7 as long as the student have a internet connection or load anytime anywhere pwede na jud sila makakuha information with the advent of technology nga magamit sa ilang mga school activities and then not just nga mag-base na lang sila sa libro nowadays daghan na mga website na useful nga pwede magamit nila in order they can get information nga ilang mag-gather then the teacher also utilize the technology on his classroom discussion nga na mga software nga pwede niya magamit for his or her activity nga dali na lang pod para interactive kayo ang discussion. And then the teacher is facilitator. Nowadays the teacher is not always provide the information. Di na ang teacher nga mo provide tanan information i-provide na sa student and the student is just only study para makaget og correct answer. But now, the student also can provide information. The teacher just a facilitator mag-assist si teacher if that particular student information nga iyang makuha sa internet kung correct ba na siya, then i-evaluate ni teacher kung correct ba na iyang nakuha nga information Now, the role of technology in delivering the curriculum. In delivering the curriculum, the role of technology is very important. Right up at the planning phase of an instruction, aside from formulating the objectives and among other considerations, there is a need to be utilized in the implementation. As what I said earlier, teacher utilize technology nga iyang magamit sa iyang discussion, mag-choose yung software nga software kung fit ba nako sa iyang learning objectives nga iyang utilize during his class. Now, there are two types of instructional media technology. So, the first one is non-projected media. As you can see, these are the following examples of non-projected media. First, real objects, kits, models, printed materials. So, kaning printed materials belong ni si books, worksheets, mo ni siya ang mga printed materials. And for the visuals, sa visual, pwede si drawings, photographs, graphs, charts, or posters. And visual boards, sa visual boards, syempre si chalkboard, whiteboard, funnel board, and etc. And audio materials. And also the field trips. Now, unsa dini si non-projected media? It refers to the materials or visual that doesn't require or doesn't need the use of equipment or projection materials. So, si non-projected media is no need to require light resource. Instead, na di-translate abstract into a more realistic format, no? Kanang makita jud sa mga student, no, ang isa ka object, no? Matouch nila, no? Mana sila. Then, as you can see, these are the example images of non-projected media. So, now we have drawing, na makita siya. Then, visible kaayo, matouch. We have books, no? Mana siya mga poster. Mana siya ang mga examples sa non-projected media. On the other hand, projected media, no? These are the following example of projected media. So, overhead transparencies, opaque projections, slides, film streams, films, videos, VCD, or DVD. Computer multimedia presentation. So, projected media is opposite to non-projected media. So, what is projected media? So, these are the media formats that are projected or which pictures are enlarged and displayed on the wall or screen, which are suitable for all use at all grade levels for instruction in all curriculum areas. So, obvious naman guro no sa this projected media, no? These are nga mag-require ka, these are the medias that require a screen nga dapat nga ang mga text nga ma-enlarge or ma-display sa wall or screen, no? As you can see that we have the examples images projected media na man siya na way projector. We need projector to something that flash sa screen, no? Nga makita sa TV sa wall or screen, no? Man siya ang projected media. So let's move now in deciding which technology to use from a wide range of media available. Factors in which to base selection, no? The first one is, the number one, practicality. Is the equipment or hardware are already prepared lessons material or software available? If not, what would be the cost of acquiring the equipment or producing the lesson in audio or visual form, no? No, in practicality, it is very important that to consider the materials to be used. Kung kaning nga materials magigamit ni teacher is budget friendly ba ni, no? Then it is ma-recycle but presentable to the students, no? Number 2 is appropriateness in relation to the learners. Is the medium suitable for learners' comprehension? Will the medium be a source of plain amusement or entertainment but not learning? So kani si number 2, ang kasubutan niya is we should the learning fun for student, no? We make sure that the student nga di sila maka-feel o bored during the class. Then as a teacher, you make a interactive environment nga maka-learn ang mga student pod. Now, number 3, activity suitability. Will the chosen media fit the set instructional event, resulting in either information, motivation, or psychological display. So, as a future educators, when providing an activity, it should be catch the attention of the student, no mag-provide kag activity nga maka-learn ang mga student let them as let them let them understand the lesson by giving an activity. And number 4, objective matching. Overall, does the media help in achieving the learning objectives? So objective matching is at the end of the lesson, teacher should evaluate if he or she kung na-meet ba niya ang learning objectives, no? The teacher evaluate if the materials nga gigamit niya kung nagmatch ba sa objective niya, no? If not, so it means that the learning objectives and the materials kanang does not meet, no ba na meet ni teacher, no, ang iyang objective matching, what this ya fits iyang kuan iyang lesson. So it is very important, no, dapat nga ang iyang gigamit nga materials sakto sad sa iyang objective. Makita dito, no, they are related to each other. So to sum up, my discussion is the role of technology in delivering the curriculum. There are two types of instructional media: the projected media and the non-projected media. So when we see non-projected media, these are the media that no need to require a light source, and they translate abstract into a more realistic format, while projected media are defined as media format in which text and still images are enlarged and displayed on an illuminated screen. And also, there are 4 factors in technology selection. Number 1, practicality. Number 2, appropriateness in relation to the learners. Number 3, activity suitability. And last one, objective matching. So before I end my discussion, I would like to share with you this quote from Bill Gates. Technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is most important. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Giselle Tan, and allow me to continue our topic, which is the role of technology in curriculum delivery. Let's have first the introduction. It's clear that technology is rapidly improving in many areas like business, science, and education. We can't predict exactly how education will change because of these technological advancements, but we know it will have a big impact. So, as what we have observed, everyone, that technology keeps evolving, it keeps changing in many areas like business, science, and education. So, we can't predict how much it will change in the future, especially education. But these changes will make teaching and learning more effective, efficient, and more personal. So we will know that later how important technology in education. What are the roles of technology in education and how it improved the delivery of the information. Now let's talk about these 3 trends, important trends happening in education right now that will likely continue into the future. So let's have first the first trend. The first trend is the paradigm shift from teacher-centered to student-centered approach to learning. So this paradigm shift, it is like moving from an old way of teaching where the teacher is the center of attention that will shift into student-centered approach. So here in the first trend, there's a shift happening from teaching that's focused on the teacher to teaching that's focused on the students. So it will likely continue into the future even though the technology keeps evolving. So the second trend that will likely continue into the future in education is the broadening realization that education is not simply a delivery of facts and information, but an educative process of cultivating the cognitive, affective, psychomotor, and much more the contemplative intelligence of the learners of a new age. So here, it is a realization that education is not just about giving facts. It's not just about the delivery of the lesson, the delivery of the information, but an educative process that will help students develop their thinking, which is the cognitive, feelings, which is the affective, skills, which is the psychomotor, and the deep understanding, which is the contemplative intelligence. So, those are the things that will continue to develop, that will continue help students develop their cognitive, affective, psychomotor, and contemplative intelligence into the future. So this realization will likely continue into the future, even though the technology keeps evolving. So the last trend is possibly the more explosive trend is the increase in the use of new information and communication technology or ICT. So since technology keeps evolving, of course, there will be an increase of the use of ICT, which is the computers, the internet in school. So those are the three trends that will likely continue into the future in education. Now let's talk about the primary roles of educational technology in delivering the school curriculum's instructional program. So first role is upgrading the quality of teaching and learning in schools. So it's important. One of the role of technology is to improve the teaching and learning. And yes, because educational technology helps make teaching and learning in schools better. Like it introduces new methods and tools that make learning more interesting and effective. So second role is increasing the capability of the teacher to effectively inculcate learning and for students to gain mastery of lessons and courses. So here, the second role is to help the teachers teach better and students learn more. So it gives teachers more ways to teach effectively with the help of educational technology. It gives teachers more ways to teach effectively, and it helps students understand and remember what they are learning. So the third one is broadening the delivery of education outside schools through non-traditional approaches to formal and informal learning like open universities and lifelong learning to adult learners. So here, it is to expand education beyond schools. We all know that educational technology it doesn't just stay within school walls. It also happen in outside school. It also used to teach people outside of traditional classroom. These can include programs like open universities and also lifelong learning to the adults for adults who wants to keep learning throughout their lives. And lastly, we have revolutionizing the use of technology to boast educational paradigm shift that gives importance to student-centered and holistic learning. So here, it is changing education to focus on students and holistic learning. So one of the role of technology is to change the to both educational paradigm shift. Katakong giingon nga teacher-centered to student-centered. So it gives importance to it changed education to focus on students and holistic learning. Since technology is also changing the way we think about education, so instead of just focusing on facts and figures, it encourages a more student-centered approach. So this means paying attention to each student's needs and interests and helping them develop in all aspects, not just academics. All right? Those are the primary roles of educational technology in delivering the school's curriculum's instructional program. Next, we are going to talk about the framework of technology. So, those primary roles of educational technology is based on this framework, the framework of technology called TPACK, which means technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. So this framework of technology, it showed us the connection between these three knowledge, which is the technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. There is a direct interconnectedness of these three components. So when we say content knowledge, it's like, what shall I teach? So what content should I teach? That is content knowledge. And pedagogical knowledge is, how shall I teach the content? That is pedagogical, right? We can see the connection between the two, right? If we have the content, the next is how are we going to teach the content, and that is pedagogical. And lastly, the technological knowledge. So what technologies will I use in how to teach the content? So if you are going to observe the question, what technology will I use on how are we going to teach the content? So there's the connection between the content, pedagogical, and technological. So that is what we called TPACK. So now let me show you guys the figure of TPACK framework. So here it is. As you can see, the three circles are connected. So first circle is technological knowledge, or TK, and the second one is content knowledge, the CK, and the third one is pedagogical knowledge, the PK. If the technological and content is connected, it is what we call technological content knowledge, or TCK. And if the content and pedagogical is connected, it is what we call pedagogical content knowledge, or PCK. And if pedagogical and technological is connected, that is what we call technological pedagogical knowledge, or TPK. And if these three is connected, that is what we call technological pedagogical content knowledge, or TPACK. So that is the framework of Coelho 2006. Now let's move on to the criteria for the use of visual aids. So since visual aids is very important in teaching as a material, since learners say we learn 83% through the use of sight, and I will agree to that, and compared to the less effective ways to learn, which is the hearing, 10%, and smell is 4% or 2%, and taste is 1%. So in the use of visuals for a wide range of materials like visual boards, charts, overhead transparencies, slides, material presentations, there are the basic principles of basic design. So now in 21st century, we use mostly slides of PPT presentation. That is why it's very important to us to learn criteria for the use of visual aids or presentation. So we have visual elements like pictures, illustrations, and graphics. Now, instead I will discuss each criteria, let's have a guessing game. I will show to you two pictures each slide, and we are just going to guess which picture is like for us is the correct one, like it is the correct way of making the presentation. So let's see. Hello again everyone, welcome to our guessing game. So again, I provided two pictures and we are just going to guess which picture is the correct that will appropriate for making presentation, or best way in making the visual aids or materials. So let's have the first one. So here we're going to observe the lettering style. So the correct one is the first picture. So why? Because it's important that our lettering style or font consistency and harmony. So make sure the style of writing is consistent and looks good together. That is why this is the correct picture. Next, the next criteria is in making chart or bulletin board, the number of lettering style no more than 2 in a static display. So our correct picture here is the second one. Why? Because a numbering of lettering style in our visual presentation or our presentation, don't use more than 2 different writings, different style of writing on one display. So here in our bulletin board, we only use 2 different styles of writing. So always remember that. The third one is here. So use of capitals, short titles, or headlines should be no more than 6 words. So our correct here is the second one. Why? Because the use of capitals keep the titles. Our titles should be short, or headlines always short, no more than 6 words. Avoid using all capital letters. Next. So, obviously, we're going to talk about the lettering colors. So, dapat we're going to use a color that is easy to see and read. Use of contrast is good for emphasis. So, our correct picture here is the second one. So, why? Because this color is dark and it's very easy to see in a distance. So, use colors that are easy to see and read. Avoid using light colors or neon. Using contrasting colors can help emphasize important information in our presentation. Next criteria. Here is the lettering size, good visibility, even for students at the back of the classroom. Obviously, our correct picture is the first one. Here. So here, the lettering size. It's very important that our font size is big. So if your font size is very small, it's very useless sad. Kay dili na makitaan sa students nga naa sa layo. So, lettering size, make sure the text is big enough for everyone in the classroom to see, even those sitting at the back. Then always remember that one, and the next is here. So we are going to talk about the spacing between letters, equal and even spacing. So the correct one here is first picture. Sorry for since the pictures are ruined. So the first picture, this is the first picture and this is the correct one because the spacing between letters are equal and even spacing. So always remember when making a presentation, our spacing between letters, keep the spaces equal and consistent. Next is the same as here. The correct here is the second because since it's important that the spacing between letters is equal, of course the spacing between lines is equal and consistent also. So the spacing between lines not too close as to blur at the distance. So don't let every line is very close because kung dugol kayo maayo imong lines, dili na siya mabasa sa layo. So don't make the lines of the text too close together or they might blur when seen from a distance. Next criteria is this. We're going to talk about the number of lines, no more than 8 lines of text in each slide. So in our slide, it's very important that the text is no more than 8 lines. So our correct here is the second picture. This number of lines, each visual aid should have no more than 8 lines of text to avoid overwhelming the audience. So, always remember that one, that in making a visual aid or in making a presentation, avoid using more than 8 lines in our presentation. And lastly, here, the correct one is the first picture. So this is the correct criteria, best appropriate for our slide, because it's important that our slide has an appeal or unusual or catchy. So make sure the visual aids interesting and interactive, if possible, to catch the attention of the learner. So we need to use design in our presentation. And also, we need to use directional devices like check, arrows, bold letters, bullets, contrasting colors and size, special placement of an item. So it's important to use directional devices to guide the audience attention to important points or information. So those are the criteria for visual aids, for the use of visual aids. So let's review the ten criteria for our presentation. First is the lettering style. It should be consistent and harmony. Second, the number of lettering style, no more than 2 in a static display. Third is the use of capitals. Short titles or headlines should be more than 6 words. No more than 6 words ang atong headlines. And the fourth one is the lettering colors are easy to see and read. The fifth is lettering size, good visibility, even for students at the back of the classroom. Sixth is spacing between letters should be equal and even spacing. Seventh is the spacing between lines not too close as to blur at the distance. Eighth is the number of lines, no more than 8 lines every slide. Ninth is to use catchy to have a interesting and interactive presentation. Appeal is very important in our slide. Last is the use of directional devices to guide the audience attention to important points or information. So I guess that would be all for our criteria to the use of visual aids. Thank you for your time.